and welcome to another edition of Eye on Jamz Extra. I'm very honored and proud to have with me Mr. David Brooks, vocal
Howdy.
from the group Slammin Gladys. How are you doing, David?
Doing great, and it's great to be here and be alive and shit.
Yeah, these days it is great to be alive. Never thought in my life I would ever live through a pandemic like this.
Well, I don't think anybody thought so. God, it slammed into us like out of nowhere. And
Exactly.
uh, talk about turning like the whole world's life out upside down, and that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
It just shows you that we're all in this together. I mean, we not might not be on the same boat, but we're in the same storm. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And in a lot of ways, it kind of shows what humanity is or is not, and not having a whole lot of faith in humanity the last several months, the way things have been.
Well, just drink a lot.
I like that answer. That's a great answer.
Go to the weed store. Yeah, it'll help you out a little bit anyway.
So true. So, talk about Slam and Gladys. How did the group get together?
Well, three of us are from Cleveland. Al and JJ and me are all from Cleveland. And Steve's from like I don't know, Harrisburg, right around there in Pennsylvania somewhere. But anyway, Al and I used to play in bands around Cleveland all in the early 80s, and cover bands and stuff. And JJ would come and see us. I'm not real, maybe Al wasn't in the band yet because he might already been in Florida with Janie and them doing the Dorian Gray thing, which I'm pretty sure that's true. And then they were out. Then Al and Janie moved out to Los Angeles and started. They did Plain Jane, and then Janie joined Warrant, and then JJ went out to go to MIT. The musicians, not that MIT, the Musicians Institute at MIT, not
But
the one in Massachusetts. He's not a mathematician, I'll tell
I
you
was saying,
that.
you're saying he's not smart enough to go to that other MIT?
No, he probably is, man. He's a freaking genius. I mean, he produced this record, and it's just incredible. And anyway, then I moved out. I got out there like I think January 1st of '89, and by April, we were rehearsing. Pretty much. Steve didn't join the band until like July or something like that, but by uh, that summer it was all put together, and we started playing out. And actually how I ran into JJ. This is pretty funny. I ran into JJ is me and my manager Abby Steinman. uh, we'd been out drinking a little tiny bit, and we pulled into the Rainbow, and I literally fell out of the car, just like the Arthur movie. I fell out of the car. Isn't the funniest thing ever? And uh, and JJ was standing right there, and he goes, "Hey, man, you're the Gotham City dude from Cleveland." And then the next day he called me and started playing me riffs over the phone, and we started writing songs, and we started rehearsing, and we were, before you know it, we were playing, the Whiskey, the Troubadour FM station, all that stuff.
So, how'd you come up with the band name?
Well, we were calling ourselves Risque there for a while, and then Brian Turner from Priority Records was like, he wanted us to change the name, and a couple other people did too. Gui, our A&R guy, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys need another name," and we all thought that anyway. So, and then we were throwing stuff around, and the word "slammin" was kept coming up because it's just something we'd say all the time about music. You know what I mean? And uh, somebody brought up the fact that Elvis's mom was named Gladys, and that's terrible. I know Elvis hates me, uh, but I love him.
Elvis is just waiting for you in the afterlife.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so our one of our guys, our road crew guys, Brian Metz, he's the one that said, "Well, why don't you call the band Slammin Gladys?" I'm like, "Okay." Well, and we were all like, "Okay, that sounds good." I mean, it is what it is, but and we thought it was cool at the time, but it stuck, and that's the name of the band.
And it stuck all these years.
Right. Well, the first record had it had a little bit of a kind of a cult following, and we didn't. And the whole idea was Charlie from Jib Machine Records. Him and Reggie approached me. I got this band in Cleveland here called the Breakfast Club, the Cleveland's Breakfast Club, and we play like '80s music and stuff like that. And we're just out jamming and having fun one night, and they approached me about re-releasing the first record, and then we were like, yeah, and this and that, and we started talking about doing a bonus track, to put on there. And then JJ came into town, and we started writing, and the next thing you know, we had a bunch of songs, and then we had a bunch of songs, and then uh, we started recording out in LA, and the next thing you know, we had a 9-song record.
Well, you mentioned that first album, the self-titled album, came out in 1992.
Right. That's about right. Yep.
It's
And,
been a long time since 1992 to your second album, which is getting ready to come out February 12th.
yes, sir. Yeah, it has been a while.
The second album, entitled Two, release date February 12th of this year. So why the long time from the two albums?
Well, we were all doing shit, Stacy's had a really successful career. I mean, Al has had a really successful career with his wife Stacy. You know, they tour Europe all the time. They got Stacy Collins. They have a lot of really great records out. JJ, JJ played with the Tories for a while. He also, he played with the Nelson brothers. He played with Matt Nelson. I know they had a band. And and he was doing a lot of movie trailers and stuff like that. So he's been real busy. And uh, I had a kid back here in Ohio, and Sarah, and I was back here, and I was just playing out all the time and putting out original. Uh, I was putting out my own records. I don't know. I think I have 3 of them, and plus I did a record with the DeMarco brothers, guitar player guys. Just incredible. That's an incredible record. Y'all should listen to that DeMarco brothers record. But and then Steve, he's very big. Steve's been working at Warner Brothers the whole time, if you can believe that. And he, just playing up and down the coast with different bands. But I mean, we all were all super busy, and it just was, it was just a serendipitous thing that it all came together like it did at this time.
Was there any hesitation to all get back together to do this album?
Not once me and JJ started sending them the songs. No, we wrote like, I don't know, we had like 3 or 4 songs together, and we had some stuff that we wrote back in the day, like Blue Sky was written back in the day, but yeah, it was way too long. I'm not so sure that Janie wasn't there when we were working on that song too, because it sure sounds like he might have been in the room. Some of those changes sound like, hey, why don't you do this? But uh we rearranged a lot of that stuff. There was a couple other songs we borrowed from, but uh it just all really came together, and we recorded it at such an amazing studio. We recorded all the basic tracks at Doug Messenger's studio in North Hollywood, Hard Drive. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And we just had just great people working on everything, and and then JJ did all the overdubs and mixed it and mastered it and everything else. And he JJ's been working with such great people throughout the years, uh, like he was Jimbo Barton was his partner for years. I mean, he was always over there. Um, when I was in town, he was there all the time, and Keith Olsen and like all these great producer engineer guys that he learned so much from. And you can really tell when you hear the record, because it sounds like one of those really great late 70s early 80s records that just have so much sonic power, I guess is a good
And I'm
words.
sure you like all the tracks off the album, but what is your favorite track off the new album too?
Wow. uh that's tough, dude. That's like, which kid do you like the best?
The one that behaves.
Right. uh I don't know what to tell you about that. I mean, I like most of the rock. Durango really kind of stands out. I think Durango is going to be a big song, if that indeed happens. But things seem to be happening. We're getting a lot of hits on the Dragon Eye Girl video. So, um,
Well, I must
let me.
confess, the one I like the best, Lost in Texas.
Oh yeah,
I really
that's
like that one.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's a fun track. We actually wrote a song, "Lost in Texas," back when we were lost in Texas, because that's about us being on tour, and we literally, that was before GPS or any of that shit. You're lucky if you had a pager. So we literally did get lost in Texas many times because our agent had us playing down there all the time. I mean, we I can't even tell you freaking uh I think we played Dallas like shit 15 times in like 4 months. I mean, we were playing Dallas like twice a month. um we'd go all the way across the state to El Paso, Amarillo, you name it. Like, I think we were in Texas one time for 26 days straight. So um
That's not hard to do.
no,
As big as Texas is, that's not
yeah,
hard to do.
dude, it's a freaking country. And I'll tell you what, I've lived. I was down there. I was down there quite a bit a few years ago, and I think they're pretty convinced it is their own country. But
Well, I live in Texas, so yes,
oh,
it is our
okay,
own country.
all right. So uh, you'd always see bumper stickers. I wasn't born in Texas, but I got here as
As
fast as
fast
I
as I
could.
could.
Right? No, I mean, I love Texas. Don't get me wrong, I do. It's like,
I was say,
God.
be careful what you say, or we'll
No,
end it
oh
real
no, no, no.
quick.
I wouldn't say anything. I like Austin, Dallas, Jesus, San Antonio, just beautiful. Um, and well, we sold more records and did more shows in Texas than anywhere else. So I'm not going to talk shit about Texas.
Well, we got to get
Besides
you to come
that,
back out here.
my Dallas Cowboys are my second favorite football team.
So you got together the record, Jib Records kind of got you together. Was there hesitation to do this? I mean, it was such a long span between the two. Was there hesitation to do it and think, well, who's going to remember us?
No, not at all, man. I don't think. I mean, if the music's good and it comes across, then none of that means anything. And it's it's just like, it doesn't matter what the name of the band is. You know, like, when they named Led Zeppelin, and everybody told Jimmy Page he was out of his fucking mind. He's like, yeah, watch this. But I'm not comparing us to Led Zeppelin. I'm just saying it doesn't matter what the name of Lover Boy, or whatever the name of the band is, Warrant. I mean, we're that is that a name for a rock band? Who knows? But uh, it just it matters if the music comes across, I think.
Will there be a third album down the road, do you think, or will this kind of be it for a while? And
Oh,
who
I
knows?
think so, man. We've ever since ever since well, you get a bug, and ever since we finished the first the the record we just finished, I think I've written 30 songs. So I've been going crazy with it. Yeah, if any kind of momentum, we'll totally take advantage of it, and everybody's into it. I mean, it we're very happy. And it's like we were always friends. We were always still friends all through the years. We were always still really good friends. You know what I mean? So that never changed at all. And as soon as I'll tell you what, man, those three, as soon as they got in that studio, I mean, this is no bullshit, man. They knocked out 6 tracks in 5 hours, I think, and they did 3 takes or 4 takes of every song. So that's how those guys just mesh. And Alan Steve as a rhythm section is just uh tighter than a frog's ass. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was just and it was very magical and serendipitous. You know what I'm saying?
Were there more than the 9 songs that made the album, or were those 9 songs just it?
Oh no, we had 3 or 4 more,
So how did
but
you limit it down to those 9?
I don't know how you do that. And that was kind of up to JJ, I think, and we had a couple different ones we were messing around with, but I, and we wanted to make a 9-song record, just like the records from the '70s, like Get Your Wings or the Boston record, and a lot of those records back then were 7, 8, 9 songs, uh, uh, and it's about 45 minutes long, I think. I'm not sure about that, but I just think that's a good listening time. You know what I mean? It's trying to put 13, 15 songs on a CD. You can do it, but you know, um, I would. Everything needs editing. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there's a every movie you see probably has another half or hour or 45 minutes they could have put into it. You know what I mean? So uh, editing could be a really good thing and it can be a really bad thing. But I think we put the right songs on this record for sure. It flows really good. Um, and it has a conclusion, and really super happy with it, man.
How do you feel the music industry has changed from when you released self-titled album in 92 to this album? I mean, obviously we didn't have Spotify and iTunes and all of that back in 92, but how do you think the music industry has changed beyond just those things?
Well, rock isn't really a mainstream thing. Well, in America, I mean, like in a lot of other countries, rock's still doing great, but it's hard to get a rock record sold or done anything with in America now. But I mean, but there's been so much great music that's been done since then too, and then uh, it sucks nobody can tour, because I mean that's the best way to get out there is to tour. And artists getting raped literally from like the streaming thing. I mean, Peter Frampton getting you know a $2,000 check for like I don't know how many millions of plays of his song, and he said something about that. And you hear all these guys talk about the incredible numbers of them, the plays they get. But nobody's getting paid. It's hard to get paid. And,
Mhm.
uh, basically in the music business now, you put out your music and you're a freaking t-shirt salesman. You know what I'm saying? So, and merch was always great on tour and stuff like that. And it's hard to sell anything. You have to do everything online now. I mean, hopefully things start opening up in the summertime and people can start playing again, because God knows everybody wants to go to a fucking concert.
If
I'm
things
gonna.
do open up, will Slammin Gladys do some shows?
We talking about it.
You're talking about it? That's good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're getting some pretty good airplay over in Europe too already, so that's great. I mean, we never ended up going there. We never ended up playing in Europe, so I'd really like to do that. And I'd love to do a tour of the Midwest. That'd be cool with that. At this point, or just come down to Texas for a month.
There you go. Get lost in Texas again.
Exactly, bro.
Well, the name of the upcoming album, Two, release date February 12th. I'm sure it's going to be available on all the normal platforms. Is
Oh,
that correct?
everything you can think of.
And the
Um,
website, slammingladys.com.
you can go to Merch Bucket. If you go to Merch Bucket, you can get the CD. Plus, they have a lot of artists, great artists on Merch Bucket. Um, and Merch Bucket has our CD and all the other fancy ass shit like T-shirts and uh, masks and all that stuff.
Hey,
Pins.
those are big sellers now, all those masks.
Yeah, man. Right. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate, but everybody's making one and putting their brand on it.
Well, yeah, yeah, you got to think about it. I mean, anybody that's any kind of entrepreneur is going to be thinking about that kind of thing.
Yep. Well, Dave, I want to thank you very much for taking time out of your evening to visit with us. Greatly appreciate it and wish you all much success on the album too.
Thank you so much for having us. And anytime you want to talk to any of us, let us know.
Will do. You have a great evening.
All right. Thank you so much.